Welcome to the Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News. We're live on Periscope, so if you want to send us a question for
check out Periscope. It's really cool too.
It is pretty cool.
The whole show won't be on Periscope.
No, but you could send us a message on Periscope. Well, not everybody's got on the Periscope bandwagon yet, though. I just got on it.
Well, some of us can't get on it.
Some of us need to upgrade our phone.
Yeah, some of us just can't get to that Periscope stuff yet. So anyway,
Dover, Jimmy Johnson. What else can you do? 10 wins, man. And I didn't think he was really going to win, and there at the end,
well, that green-white checkered at the end.
You can't count him out at Dover.
Well, I was sitting there listening to the race, riding around, and when they said he was like third, I said, "Well, here he comes." You know, he's going to factor into it at the end.
I was surprised the guys with tires didn't come a lot faster than they did. To be honest,
that would have been a great thing if they could have.
And a couple of guys got some good runs there too.
Oh yeah, there was a lot
at the end. The guys that got some tires and came up through the field, but they didn't really have any.
Yeah, I just feel so bad for Martin Truex. I want him to win a race so bad. I have sat there and thought, man, here he goes. He's got a chance to do it this time. But no, he didn't. He didn't do it this time. But I'm not really sure. I was hearing today that he is 80 points to the good.
Oh yeah, I mean he's
as far as the next guy without a win.
Yeah.
So that's two complete races that he's in front of the guy. So I think it's time we might want to try to do something a little different. Go out on a limb a little bit.
Yeah, I mean he's probably pretty secure of being in the chase. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah. Time to go out on a limb a little bit. So
and Jeff, I mean, where the hell Jeff Gore? He's been in the back most of the day, or 15th to 20th, and there at the end he come off, got a top 15, got a top 10. Clint Boyer, Paul Menard, and he's been just rolling off some decent finishes.
Well, one of the questions that was asked today was, how is it that Martin Truex can take the same equipment that the RCR cars have and beating them with it?
Yeah, I mean they're getting. I think this year, if I understand it right, they're getting their chassis and everything.
Everything's coming from
them. And they're sharing information, and these guys have kind of elevated at the end of the year last year. I was surprised to hear that Jeff Gordon, I know, was kind of switching gears, that those guys felt like they're down on horsepower.
Well,
I mean, I don't know that I believe that. He might be just fighting for something, but he kind of thought that they were down a little bit. The Toyotas have kind of stepped up.
The Toyotas have moved up a little bit, but the Fords are still behind everybody else. I don't know if I agree with that thing about the Chevrolets when you got Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson running as good as they run. Casey Kane was running pretty good in that race. I mean, I'm not sure. And of course Martin Truex is a Chevrolet. So
yeah.
But he's got a different engine from Hendrick. But that's just, I don't know. I've got my own opinions on that. But.
Now, what do you think about the deal with Jennifer Jo Cobb and who was in the Cup car that went out on pit road? Trevor Bayne about going out on the racetrack. I didn't know that they had made a rule about walking out on the racetrack, and I understand the rule.
I understand the rule too, but
it'd be hard not to still walk out there.
It all came about last year, and we all know the story about why it came about last year. But we're not even going to go into that. But yeah, that was a thing that they came up with. You got to stay in the car until the safety people
come to the car,
and remove you from the car. And Jennifer got a little upset with Tyler Reddick, and she got out of the car and did what she did. I never saw the thing with Trevor Bayne.
I didn't either, and I understand her frustration. She's a low budget team. I don't know how bad it tore the truck up because I didn't see the race.
Pretty bad.
But I did see her on Periscope at driver introduction, and she was talking about their race team. They had one set of tires they were starting to race on. They had an eight lap set of scuffs that a team gave them, and that's all they had for the race. And that was nowhere near enough for them to run, and they were going to kind of figure it out as the race went on. So, and that just adds to frustration too, for her.
And that may have played a little bit of what happened to her during the race, because Tyler Reddick run right up behind her. I don't know that he actually put the bumper on her.
Oh, really?
I really don't, because from every angle that it showed, it doesn't really show it where he did anything, but I think he did pull her around. And, and of course,
maybe that's what happened at Pro 6 race over at Langley this weekend.
I'm not even going to. I'll let you explain that one, because I didn't have all the inside.
Well, I don't know either, but I'm just.
But it's really good for Langley Speedway. The two girls in the Pro 6 did it.
Hey, let me tell you something. Back when I first started in racing, I was a crew member on a late model, and I worked for Barry Strathman, and we had a late model, and his girlfriend, Kathy Mosier, ran in the mini stocks with, oh man, what is her name? Tanya Miller.
Tanya Miller, yeah.
With the Honda Civic.
Yep.
And that was the best show at Langley Speedway. I mean, people used to flock to see those girls race each other. And they used to race each other hard, and they could do nothing more than want to beat each other. And Tanya Miller dominated over there, and Kathy was the only one that could really run with her. And I will say, and kudos to Kathy, because she had a rear-driven car compared to everybody over there was running front-wheel drive cars. She had a really nice mini stock that it was Brett Hamilton's personal mini stock. So obviously it was very well built, and the thing was fast.
She was fast every week over there in the mini stock.
Yeah,
every week.
But that was fun to watch those two girls go at it. So it's going to be fun to see what transpires over at Langley Speedway whenever the next Pro 6 race is, because those two girls are pretty mad at each other. And it's going to make for great racing, and it makes some great stuff for you and me to stir up.
No, and I think we're going to have to be there for the next one to go over there and stir some stuff up.
Well, that's not going to be hard.
I mean,
we're going to have to play it safe, because we got to be friends with both of them. Maybe you go stir one up, and I'll stir the other one.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. I mean, but it was, from what I understand, the late model races were pretty good. Greg drove away from them.
Greg said he put a 2-year-old setup in the car, and they were out to lunch. They were lost, so they went back to a setup they'd ran 2 years ago when the asphalt was old, before they paved it, and their car come back to life. And he dominated. Lee ran 4th and 5th and won it. So I mean, when everybody's beating Lee like that, I mean, Lee is no slouch. I forget who else. Well, I think Tyler Hughes finished 4th in one race. In the second race,
I can't remember who did what.
So Greg is apparently back on the stuff. I don't know when the next late model race is. I don't know who's I know the Champ Karts are racing this weekend. So
Modifieds are racing this weekend.
More than likely.
Yeah, I saw that. I've already looked at that to see who was racing.
And that'll be the Sean Beluzzo, Robbie Babb show.
Did you see, going back to the Cup race, did you see Tony Stewart's pit stop?
No.
You didn't see where the concrete was buckling?
Oh, yeah. I seen him show a picture or a video of it.
That was unbelievable.
I didn't know whose pits it was.
I talked to one of the guys Monday that's on Tony's pit crew, and they said it was just unreal. It was like one of those earthquake movies. They just kept watching it. It just kept watching it. It kept coming up. And then it started breaking apart. And then there was some concern about going around the car, because they would trip and fall on the seams. And they tried to get NASCAR to address it.
I've seen something like that.
And I don't remember exactly what happened with NASCAR. Did they ever address it? I don't know. I've never seen anything like that before. And that was pretty weird. I mean, I looked at it and saw how. I mean, they showed a picture of it. I'm thinking, man, that's. But they said that the heat just raised it right on up.
That's crazy.
So that was the pit road announcer on MRN says, when you think you finally seen everything,
something else
pops up. And he said, I've never seen it. He said, I'm standing here watching it. So that was really weird. I couldn't believe that. But back to Langley, good racing there. K&N race at Bowman Gray this past weekend. Scott Heckard got the pole, won the race. Unbelievable.
There was no running into each other at Bowman Gray. I can't wait because we're going on the Southern Modified Tour when they go to Bowman Gray. We got to contact them and get us some credentials.
August 1st. I want to go down for that. That'll be
and get with Brian and
hopefully I won't. That won't.
Do you think Brian will act like he knows us there?
No, he won't because he's a NASCAR official, and
these guys are kind of jerks.
Some of them are. Yeah. Some of them are.
Oh, what's his nickname?
Lugnut
Lover.
Lugnut, yeah, Lugnut. I ain't going with that one either. But Scott Heckard had him covered, and I listened to the feed thing they have for the race, and he had them covered. I'm no doubt about it. But then I think about listening to the folks talk. If you get out front at Bowman Gray, you got a pretty good shot to win the race.
Yeah, you ain't in amongst all that crap.
You got a pretty.
It's got to be a blast. I was talking to John Medeiros, and he was going. His son, works with Sam Hunt, and they were there. He was there all week. He's like, man, I said, you going to pits? He's like, hell no, man. I'm watching from the stands. This place is crazy. So I look forward to going. I think it's gonna be a cool race. For you guys out there watching the show live, if you guys have got any questions, you should be able to post it in our chat or on the page there. If you got a questions for Connor Hall or a question for us, CJ Faison, Carl Long, please let us know or check us out on Periscope and ask us some questions. I don't know who you guys are, so maybe post on here. We'll give you a shout out.
Be glad to answer any questions.
I think one guy, that's that new guy. I'm sure he friended you, Junior, on Facebook. He said he was watching the show. We got another viewer.
Clayton Fry.
Yeah.
Clayton Fry.
Give a shout out,
man.
Yeah,
give us a shout out. Go on Periscope. Let us know.
For a new watcher. He
Yeah.
messaged me. He's been asking me a few NASCAR questions. I mean, I don't know why he's asking me, but
I don't know either.
I can't believe it. It was terrible. Man, it's rough around here.
I don't know.
But yeah, so the race was good.
It's a good weekend.
What do you think the punishment's going to be on Jennifer Jo Cobb?
I think it'll be just a fine. I don't think it's going to be anything.
You think they will be some action?
I think there will be.
Just to make a point about it?
They're going to have to, because if they don't, if you don't deal with it, it's going to happen again.
I was kind of thinking they may just have a talk and say, look, this cannot happen again. And then the next time it happens, they're going to drop the hammer on somebody.
Jimmy's got his appeal coming up for his thing.
I don't quite understand. I'm a little lost on that rule. I thought, so far as qualifying, if they fail it a couple of times, 2 weeks in a row, they get a written reprimand, and then they get time lost on practice or qualifying.
Time lost in practice. It's supposed to be time lost.
Yeah, but ain't that only like a couple of weeks thing, and then it starts over? I'm a little.
Evidently, it don't start over. Evidently, it don't start over.
Yeah, because I don't know why they would want to appeal it unless there's going to be some significant, for
I know
Jimmy
that
Johnson.
I've heard people say, man, it's really tightening up in the inspection, because if they don't get it through, there's repercussions for not getting the car.
And I really don't blame NASCAR, to be honest with you.
And how about this thing with Kurt Busch? Did you hear about them cooling the gas?
No, no. I didn't
They started putting blankets around the gas cans in the pit area.
Mm-hmm.
And NASCAR said, get them off.
Oh, really?
And so everybody's trying to figure out, well, what's the problem with that? I think NASCAR, it's like somebody said, I think Dave Moody said today, NASCAR saw that, and they know where it could go from here. You go with you're wrapping it, then next time it'll be a
cooling agent.
Yeah, cooling something that'll go through them and cool it. And so they kind of warned them about it. And if it happens again,
well, that's my old saying. My dad told me a long time ago as a kid: if you don't start it, you don't ever have to stop it.
That's exactly right. Well, but still, it's not. It's like he said, it's a very, very gray area. Mm-hmm. Nobody said you couldn't do that. So they cover tires up. So I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that
I wonder if but are they still allowed to cover tires after this whole?
Well, now I don't know. That may have changed now. I don't know, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
But I know that. But no, because you still got the folks in the pit area with tires covered up with a tarp in the back there. That the ones that later on. I saw them the last time we were in Richmond.
But it's time to call Connor Hall.
Connor Hall.
You ain't got no. You're on Periscope. I got a message or something. We'll go back. Let's see.
Let me see if I can get old Connor Hall on the phone. You go ahead and carry the show until I get Connor.
Just put it on my back.
You can handle it. You can handle it.
Hey, you heard it right straight from his mouth. He said, "I can handle it." I don't know how much confidence he's really got in me, or he's lying to me.
I'm just trying to get through.
He's just trying to get through.
Well, I love his music.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know what, when you call Connor Hall, that's what you get.
And then you get the whole song.
Been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
That's not good.
Connor Hall, what are you doing?
Come on there,
I
Connor.
know you ain't got nothing to do.
We really need to talk to you, Connor. Be really nice if you would answer the phone. We're gonna try this again. And I'm gonna turn it down. Hello? Hello?
I think you're going to hang up and call back. Mine does that. It ain't going through.
All right, we gotta keep. We've been doing so good.
Hey, all good things got to crash sooner or later.
Oh, that's not good.
Come on.
That is not good. Uh-oh.
That was,
let's send him a text and see what he did.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm watching and love the show so far. Thanks for the shout out. Clayton. Thanks, Clayton. We appreciate that. I got your message. So if you got any questions for those guys that are coming up, hey, man, please let us know.
Clayton, we're not like this on normal occasions, but right now it just seems like we're having a hard time here getting people to answer the phone.
Hey, maybe they've seen the show before and they don't want to come on the show.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I love my show, but
oh, Jennifer Jo Cobb is live. Let's go back. Let's turn our Periscope back on. So if you guys got Periscope, Twitter, and if you have an upgraded phone, you can get Periscope, and you can watch us kind of behind the scenes. And I have a hard time doing two things at once.
this is our Langley Speedway segment, supposedly. Doesn't look like it's going to work too well.
All right, well we're back broadcasting. What the heck? Oh, you gotta turn this thing around.
It's sad. He stole this from his family. What?
Hey, we got 5 people. We're behind the scenes. You got a question for Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News? We're here live.
All right, we're going to try Connor Hall one more time.
We're waiting for Connor Hall. Maybe he doesn't want to answer the phone.
Maybe he's out working on the race car. Because they have some damage.
I don't know what Connor work. I don't know if he works on stuff. He looks kind of clean.
Oh, well, then I can't answer that question then. All right, well, we're going to cut by Connor. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go to our next guy who I had on standby just in case.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Jeff Kirkendall.
Oh, man, I can't wait to talk to old Jeff Kirkendall. Because we're going to be... Are you prepared for this?
Oh, yeah, I'm prepared for him.
I think he's going to talk trash about you. Are you sure?
Hello, Mr. Kirkendall. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. This is Jack Dodson. Now joining us on our show is Jeff Kirkendall from over at BK Racing, the competition director. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is right.
All right. You've moved up in the world since I've been around you. You know, you're doing good.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, good. Tell us what all's going on over at BK. It seems like it's building all the time. It looks like things are getting better all the time.
Yeah, we had a pretty tough off-season. We're a real small operation. We operate on a really tight budget with 60 people trying to run 3 teams. And we had a body change this year. Toyota introduced a new Toyota Camry. And so we had a body change, and in the off-season we got pretty far behind with our limited number of resources trying to get all of the cars switched over. And so we started the season well behind the bigger teams, and it's been a struggle to catch up, but only in the past month have we felt like we're in the good shape. Prior to a month ago, it was all we could do to even get to the racetrack. And now we're able to start going to the wind tunnel and start going over to TRD and start using some of the tools available to us, trying to improve our product, and it has gone great.
I don't know, I've known Matt DiBedetto for a long time, but he just seemed like come out of nowhere with you guys. I mean, he wasn't even part of the
He's an overachiever.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even part of the program at the beginning of the year, and now he seems to be the guy that's probably doing among the best of your cars.
That whole team, has been kind of an afterthought up until probably the 5th race of the season. And I think you mentioned on your show that I criticized the first 5 races. And then Ted Richards took over, and the team had a good finish with Johnny Potter at Daytona, and it kind of set the tone for the season. But Matt came in, and we missed a couple of races. One was the NASCAR debacle there with the laser platform at Atlanta, so we didn't even get an opportunity to make qualifying laps. And that we went to Phoenix. And I had a really decent run, and then Doug and Matt have really gelled, and Matt has taken off, and I had a really good finish at Bristol, and we've added some personnel to that team, and really it's kind of become our flagship team. JJ Yaley and the 23 bus are nipping at their heels, but week in and week out it seems like the 83 has been probably our best performing bus.
About of the 3 drivers that you got there, you got Matt and you got JJ, but Jeb Burton is probably he's probably got the least amount of experience of all of it. What's it going to take to get him up and running good? I mean, I think he's trying hard, but I don't know what the deal is with him. He seems to be right there, but not getting not getting to the finish line like he should.
It's a struggle. I mean, that's one of the things that people at home don't always realize is really how tough this sport is. You have to be near perfect all the time, to intend to win and whatnot. And the competition at the backside of the garage, get into the races, is every bit as tough. And Jeff, he got behind early in the season. He had 2 crashes there at Daytona. One in the next few weeks, the next few races, you know, he struggled a little bit. There was a big field at Texas, which there normally is, and missed that event. Well, that got him pretty far back at the point. And the way that the NASCAR qualifying system is now is, you know, the top 43 points and everyone else plays the top 36, and then that bumped out, you know, if one of them does that, then the 43rd place guy gets bumped out unless he qualifies for the top 36. So it's a cycle. And just had a string of where he's been the 37th and 38th place qualifying car, you know, and so he has been in a position or put himself in a position to qualify in, but just hasn't had that last little bit to get qualified in. We had looked at swapping some teams around, swapping some personnel around. We feel like Patrick Donahue is good for Jeff Burton. And I think Jeff will do okay. You know, once he gets in the races, he does all right. So over this past weekend, he did well. I think he'll do fairly well at Pocono, even though he hasn't been there before. You know, even with Dover, you know, he hadn't raced in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because he missed 3 consecutive races. And like I said, we're not using triad engines. So we're doing things to kind of get better. We've redone our bodies. We've gained 120 pounds of downforce. You know, so we're doing things. We're working hard. It's just tough to get things turned around because we don't have 500 employees like some of the different teams.
Well, you're pretty good at knowing about having to do a lot with a little with some of the places that you've been. I mean, of course, I'm familiar with you at Phoenix. I mean, you know, didn't have a whole lot to work with there as far as personnel, but always seemed to come along pretty good. You seem to be able to do that.
I'm pretty fortunate in the fact that I have relationships with all of the manufacturers, and a lot of people don't know that I actually started with the manufacturer. I started with Dodge when they were doing their cup program, and only since Brown hired me away from Dodge have I been on the team side, but I had already made relationships with the people at Chevrolet, the people at Toyota. So I've been fortunate that whichever team I'm with, I've got relationships with manufacturers, so I've got information or help it being pointed in the right direction. And like I said, the wind tunnels, the pull-down rigs, the 7-post machines, you know, all that stuff. I've got to factor out in how to maximize that stuff. That's the biggest thing. Is everything is just a tool, nothing is absolute. So you have to be able to apply all of those tools. And now the teams have simulation programs. You start hearing more and more of that when we actually run a personal race car around the track and look at stock travel, look at velocity, foot stock, you know, look at different things. And we're able to tune the race car that way. And that's what happened this weekend. We were struggling with JJ in practice and we went to our simulation program Saturday night. We worked really hard on that all night. And Kim put a setup where he was able to race his way to a 29th place.
Kurt, I got a serious question for you. This is Scott. Are you really friends with Jack here?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
This is Scott. Are you really friends with Jack here? Because he talks.
I actually go way back, believe it or not. I think you guys have been busting on me a little bit on the show.
No, wait a minute. Don't.
JJ was on.
Don't put y'all. Put him on there now.
Jack, Jack and I go way back. I actually worked with Jack's son Lee at Phoenix Racing on the 51 car and helped mold him into a car seat while he was there.
I tell you, the times that I look back at those days when he was with Phoenix and you were there and everything. I was around a lot, off and on with things.
There were probably
it was an experience. I mean, I even went to the wind tunnel with you one time.
Yeah.
And that was an experience I had never seen before. And that's the benefit of a small team, I guess.
I gotta answer the phone. Even Jackson's been fortunate enough to come down in the garage area, and that changes your whole NASCAR experience when you get access to the garage and see the business side of the operation versus just the entertainment side. So
Yeah, I agree. Now, look, you're working for Ron Devine over there at BK. Give us a little insight on him. I like the guy. I mean, I've met him a couple times and talked to him. He has offered anything we want as far as the show, getting people on the show or anything. He seems to be like he really wants to try to get y'all's team running right and be competitive.
He does. And like I said, we've had a pretty big turnaround here in the off season, and we've gotten behind, but he's pretty much given me all the support, to do my job. Of course, everybody wants to run better and wants to move up to the next tier, and it's always a struggle. Whether it's budget, personnel, logistics. I mean, we run from California to Florida to Michigan. So we cover a wide range in a short period of time. We try to run 36 races in a span of 38 weeks. And it's just tough. And you got to really want to do it at every level, whether it's the owner or the guy that picks the floors. It's just has to be a way of life, and there's got to be a passion involved. There's really not anybody that can do this sport that doesn't have 100% commitment.
Hey, Jeff, how different are some of the setups between the drivers that you guys are working with? I know some people out there from the fan side of it don't understand or don't see that sometimes one setup doesn't work for one driver compared to another driver. Do you guys pretty close on everything, or is each driver have a different setup?
Each driver has a different feel for what they're looking for in a race car. And one of the Devin and Matt tend to be fairly close, where JJ is a little bit different in his setup. But from a three-team perspective, we try to not be the same going to the racetrack, but have the capability of being the same. And all of our crew chiefs, all of our engineers, all of our drivers, we try to communicate with each other as much as possible. For one, that helps each team go down the right road, and two, if one team has gone down a road that didn't work, then try to keep the other two teams from pursuing that same road during practice or during the race.
But as a competition director, do you actually get these guys, all the crew chiefs and the drivers together, and try to work all this out as far as what the drivers like, what they're feeling, and how to help them out? Do you all have your team meetings like that?
We do, and we've carried it one step further. The way that the schedule is now, they've cut schedules a little bit, and so there isn't always time to do that. But we have certain systems, like during the race, we have a Gmail set up where the engineers are all logged into Gmail, and we have live feeds for what we're doing for tire pressures, what we're doing for adjustments during each pit stop, what the driver's saying about the car. So each engineer can look at the other two cars, tell what they've done, what their car is doing, and we have that during practice. When we make a change to the race car and it goes into our setup sheet, it goes out live via Dropbox to the other teams, and so they can look at it without having to come all the way down and say, hey, what was that last adjustment you guys picked up 210?
Wow, I didn't.
A couple steps further.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know they did that. That's pretty neat that you've got that situation. How much involvement do you have? I know with a Toyota, do you have any involvement with the other, like the Gibbs teams, the Waltrip teams, as far as any type of information that Toyota can give out? Do y'all have any of that?
We have not had any working with the Waltrip organization up to this point, but we have done some stuff with Gibbs Racing. They helped us out with the wind tunnel numbers early in the season, and they also helped us out when the 83 car had nose damage in the 150s. We took the car back to North Carolina and took it to Gibbs Racing, and they hung a new nose on it for us because they had all the personnel and capabilities of actually turning that car around in a day and a half, but we didn't have that capability ourselves. Plus, we were struggling to get cars built for Atlanta the following week.
Wow.
But who's doing y'all's motors?
Right now it's Triad. Previous to this, we were doing our own with fellow out of Virginia named Joey Arrington.
Yeah.
And we had a situation where we owned our own engines, and it was a unique challenge, but in all honesty, in today's NASCAR, I'm glad to not have that headache anymore.
Yeah,
so I'm glad that to be involved with Marty on Triad.
All right, give us before we let you go, give us a little bit of what you think's going to happen up at Pocono this week.
Pocono is a unique track. It's very much horsepower, very much aerodynamic, and it's probably a place where the driver really only matters a very little piece of the racetrack, specifically turn 1 and turn 3. So the pressure is on the team this week, and I think you're going to see the Fords will probably be pretty stout, because I think they have the strongest overall engine package. It tends to get strung out during the race, ends up being a strategy race where you work on getting at the right time. Pit road is very long, so you cannot have any mistakes, any kind of a penalty. Where you have to do a pass through is
that's a killer.
Your day.
Yeah. Now, do you guys, when you're at Pocono, do you concentrate on turn 3 and 4 there, and then work on the rest of the corners?
It kind of varies. Like I tend to look at turn 3 a lot because it puts you out onto the long pond stretch. And you can make up a lot of time there. If you can get through turn 3 well, you can really make up a lot of time on that long front stretch.
Right, yeah.
Well, I see today, Jeff, that you all got a new sponsor on Matt's car. So maybe things are going to move along and get a little bit more money in there. You can you come away with some big finishes.
Yeah, and we're really happy. We've had some blasting on the car for a few races. The maximum deal on the 26 is a pretty good deal. Of course, Dr. Pepper, which we have high attention this week at Pocono. So we've got a lot of things going on. It's pretty exciting. We've got a lot of people in the marketing department that are working really hard to help us bring in some extra money so we can kind of take that next step.
Well, cool. Well, Jeff, it's good talking to you. Hopefully we'll get you back on here again sometime. And,
I look forward to meeting Jack's one and only friend.
Yeah. Absolutely, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, look, man, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Thanks, Jeff.
Sounds good. Yep.
All right, we got a question from Clayton here. He wants to know, what's the chances that we give the 33 car with Ty Dillon behind the wheel? When Scott was driving it, the thing seemed to be fast, and when Kennedy was driving it, it was a lot less impressive. Now, some people don't realize that the 33 team is owned by
Joe Falk.
I drew a blank there. Joe Falk. He owns the number and the team. That's he got that team and number from Richard Childress. So when Brian Scott or Ty Dillon gets in that car, it's really not Joe Gibbs' car or team. Joe Falk. Joe Falk's team or cars. That's all completely a Richard Childress engines, motors, cars, crew members with Joe Falk's number and under his name.
And that's it. I mean, that's the only thing that Joe Falk has in the car is the number and the fact that he is listed as the car owner for that car.
Right. Originally, that was Richard Childress's number, right. And Richard wasn't running that year. They run the first 5 or 6 races, which I forget who it was, and they made those 3 races, and they didn't pick up sponsorship. So then Joe Falk took the number over and kept it going. They started and parked it for a while, but he's been running it full time.
So that was a points thing. They were able to keep going because they had points built up. So Joe Falk, he made out good.
Right.
Now, when you have the other guy, Alex Bowman or whoever the other guy was that's in the car,
right,
that is completely Joe Falk's car. And that's a completely different organization, completely different.
The resources are completely different, even though they share some information with Richard Childress. But the resources are completely different. And then when Ty Dillon goes full-time Cup, which it looks like there's a possibility for next year. They ain't got nothing in concrete, but it is a very big possibility. He will be Cup racing the majority, if not all, the Cup races and run for a Cup championship. Joe Falk will no longer have
the 33.
The 33. Or they may change it, but those points are going to go back to RCR.
Right. It's just a matter of switching the owner, the car owner is all it is.
Right. So the reason you see when Ty Dillon gets in the car or Brian Scott get in that car and it performs better is because they have much more people on the team. It's better resources. They're buying tires. They got RCR engines.
Wind tunnel. They know they have all the stuff.
They're taking one of
that Joe Falk don't have.
Right. They're taking one of RCR cars out of their fleet and they're bringing it, putting a 33 on it with Joe Falk's name and running it. So that's the reason you see the disparity in equipment. Joe Falk, I don't think they run RCR engines at all the racetracks. I think on a third or half the season, I think they run some of them. I know all the plate races, I'm pretty sure they run RCR engines. Or somewhere where horsepower is really key, probably like Indy coming up here soon. Horsepower is going to be huge.
I mean, yeah, but see, at Indy, but that'll be a children's car at Indy.
Well, true, but his other car will probably run RCR motors.
Yeah.
Probably because horsepower is going to be so key going down those big, long straightaways.
So, did that answer your question, Clayton? It's pretty, it's pretty cut and dried. It's about Joe Falk and Richard Childress and how they do things. Our next guest.
You going to call him?
Is Carl Long. Well, yeah, I'm calling him now.
No. Hudson Hall's watching cartoons with his daughter on Periscope. So you guys on Periscope, give Hudson Hall a hard time. Hudson.
Hello.
Carl Long, how you doing, sir?
Sticking a decal on.
Oh, sticking some decals. Joining us on the show now is Carl Long from down in North Carolina. Is the storms passed by?
I couldn't quite hear you. I got some noise in the shop. What was your question?
Has the storms passed you by?
It slowed down, but it's still banging up the roof a little bit.
Well, you had a rough time down there at Dover this week. Give us a little story about what was going on at Dover. I know you had a tough time.
Well, I've been working kind of in Dover to the track that I usually have good results at, and my points were far behind, so I took the best piece that I had. So, best engine, best car, best everything, and was making some adjustments in the package, and the car was working real well. And the car in front of me lost the piece of lead, and it went right into my drill stream. Blew the radiator apart, blew the oil cooler apart, so all the oil and water just immediately started spraying out on tires. It knocked the belt off the front of the motor, so I had no oil pump running while the motor was still running. I'm not sure what damage I've got there, but I went straight on into the wall, pretty tough lick, and then the accelerator hung wide open after I hit the wall with the motor twisting and all, and my body all going forward. I actually stomped the gas pedal back wide open. But while I was stomping the brake, trying to slow it down on the front straightaway, that's when I realized that we still had gas engaged and the motor was digging. So I went ahead and hit the entry wall and finished hitting up the other side of the car. So we totaled that car. Front flip, rear flip, center section, and the motor.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a bad break right there all the way around.
Yeah.
So did those guys help you any afterwards from the other team?
Yeah, I mean, Peyton Sellers is a friend of mine, and John Munson, I've known him for a while, and, John kept apologizing, and, anything you can do, you can use my backup car. I don't need a backup car, I got my own backup car, which if I needed one, it would have been great, but what I need him to do is get me another car from Xfinity. I'm sitting in here with 6 cars, and that car held almost 400 pounds of weight. I probably don't have 400 pounds in the other 2 cars combined. Coffee time of day, it was just a really good piece, and I don't have that anymore. And
So how are they lightening the cars up to be able to put more lead in them? How are they being able to lighten the cars up to get more lead in the car?
It's just every little detail. I mean, you've got an organization like Penske. This car was the car Sam Hornish last drove at Homestead. The last year it was a Doc. And some of the stuff now they have gained even more on it. But they use the little aircraft quality bolt, the little high-volume bolt. I'm talking about $15 for 20 bolts. And that's stuff. I'm too cheap for that. I go buy a drag green egg over there to, $15 for a box of 50. And that they use all of this stuff that like your seat rails that we put in our cars. A few years back, everybody went taking and putting a fixture in it where you just bolt the rail out of your seat, go bolt it into another car. So we have what we call a sled. You bolted your seat into a sled, and all right, well, they don't do all of that. They've got a bracket welded in the car, so there's no bolts, no lead, no nothing, and you just use two little other brackets to they had carbon fiber seats, and so they could swap them out real easily. But you save, 12 pounds of weight just in the sled that you had on your seat. Carbon fiber dashes, $7,000 in a dash is what it costs to get a Penske dash.
Man, that's crazy. It's
lighter weight wire, but the whole deal. I mean, people say cars is cars, but it was huge loss to me. And, that guy from Fredericksburg, Virginia, helped me purchase that car, and he bought the car from Penske, and then I finished putting it together and put a lot of other stuff together. And I really haven't had a chance to communicate. I'm trying to find another chassis if I can to replace it, but that kind of comes back on me.
Now, that is the you drive for your own team, right? That's your team.
Yes, I've two of the cars you can hear are my pocket. 3 cars belong together twice, like Ford. Now they belong together. And then I've got a little force car that Tim Cowan is a part of. What I do is I do all the work, I put them all together, and some guys only want to race for 3 races to do. But they're under my heading, Motorsports Business Management, and I've got 1 Ford, 3 Chevrolet, has 4 Dodges, and a Chevrolet truck, and 2 Toyotas. So we got them all covered. That's how I keep my doors open, is just having something different each week. Everybody that can't afford to do this full time, I basically got 4 part-time guys, all combined with the same effort to make it happen. So we're able to keep the lights on, rent paid. I've got 5 full-time people that are doing 2 full-time cars.
Wow, that's hard to have to keep all that going at one time, and you being totally responsible for it.
Yeah, and if I got a driver with money, I'll put them in a seat in it. If you see me driving, it's because we didn't have no money that weekend.
Now, are you guys running every week?
Yes. Yes, every week we plan. And that's why we take 2 cars. The one starting car, it's a gamble. I mean, you spend money to get it in, and if the starting car don't make the race, you have really cost yourself a lot of money. But if it does make the race, well, you can use the tires off of that car and the income that it has to help pay the payroll, so it puts the payroll in half. And just in general, when people thought, oh, look, we can't between the budget, you took in $30,000 this weekend on winnings with 2 cars. In general, to run the Penske engines and stuff like that's all from my motor deal. So it costs about, and it gives me a really good deal. But for the most time, you spend $20,000 on a motor and $10,000 on top. So there's my $30,000. We're just going to leave the rest of it for payroll, and diesel fuel, and motel rooms, and so we can't do it without participants, putting in their own money. And Derek White is the main one. Canada. He's got a Canadian team up there, and yeah, without him, we just have to go with it.
So what is your biggest expense with your team? So for like, what is your biggest expense for the weekend? Is it tires or getting to the racetrack and those type of things?
Sure. I mean, there's no set expense. My payroll for all of us over here together, including the big crew that I hired to come up, is probably about $5,000 a week.
Okay.
Then a tire bill, that averages about $8,500 a week, and then my motor bill is $20,000. You know, if it's a shorter race, he does me a really stupid job, and he only charges me about $5. So I see a 200-mile race versus a 300-mile race. He pays for the same. I'm all good. 200-mile race, that much road rush.
Right.
But yeah, I pay him by the mile. That's why you may not see me practice as much. So every mile I run, that usually costs me about $100 a lap or something like that.
Well, Carl, we got a question from a fan that messaged us. He said NASCAR said something about the 41 Cup team this weekend about cooling the fuel. They put a blanket or something around their fuel tank in the pits. How much does that matter, and how much does it help? And what's the purpose of it?
I don't know. That's the first I've heard of it. But it's like anything else. Cold fuel, it makes more horsepower. So if you're able to cool your fuel, then it'll be just like if you're the engine dyno on a car or anything like that. I can dyno a car in February, and it's 40 degrees outside, and it'll make 700 horsepower. I'll come back in July, the same motor, same car, nothing changed on it. And temperature's 80 degrees, 90 degrees, and 700 horsepower will now be about 680 or 690. So, cold air, cold fuel make more horsepower.
There you go, Clayton. The colder you can get the air, the colder you can get the fuel, colder you can get about everything except the oil. I'm sure makes more horsepower.
Oh yeah, you read some of these old racers' books and stuff, and how they used to compete and stuff like that. I mean, I know they used to get thermos that go up under your what is that? Fondue cooking, little stuff. Extra air filters and stuff like that. That pick up like 10 horsepower qualifying.
Hey, those guys are still doing that stuff.
Yeah, that they were talking about it this weekend about the 41 doing that, but there is no rule saying you can't cover your fuel cans on pit road. As far as I know.
Yeah, I don't think there is either. And you got to know that those guys are smart enough on that stuff. If there is no rule, then that's what we call a gray area.
Right.
Then they could but they've got a lot of IndyCar backgrounds. You can ask and all that stuff. It's very easy to look at what's going on over there. Look, they got these nice blankets. We used to run blankets for our oil tank in the day.
Yeah.
We go to Daytona. We heat the oil up real hot. You got a blanket on. You keep the hot burning and back straight away. Now we can't run them. You get air cooled, but you wouldn't run nowhere to Daytona and Talladega where you were trying to make more horsepower just to do that.
Well, Carl, I know that with you having basically an independent situation there with your running with all those cars, is it still fun to you to do the racing thing? I mean, is that what you really enjoy doing?
Well, I've always seemed to have good luck at Dover. I ran up races, I ran quick, and I did stuff. So, yeah, I was looking forward to Dover. I took the best piece up there, one that I owned part of. I'm all pumped up, ready to go. But I can tell you, the wind can come out of your tail real quick when you get right at the clutch wall like that.
Yeah.
Next day, I was in my other car, and I had this kind of pole bound set up. I couldn't do the same setup of what we used as a pigtail, which is a pole bound. But that's what I had in my Superman cars. But my backup was much to the Lord so long enough still to make it work. So I got out there with that thing, and it was bouncing around. For Saturday, when we come in qualifying, I didn't realize just how sore I was. I put that helmet got an off-high split like a lady at the evening in church, you know? Like, we didn't even go on the race check. I knew at some point in time I needed to put Jimmy in the car, because I needed the best finish I could get the team, and I had never fell out of the seat in a race car. And none that I wanted, so I did get sick one time driving one front row, and that was at Bristol, but I didn't want to have no rear turning, because I just wanted to put Jimmy in the car. I knew I had to run this car for 45 laps and do what we had to start the car, so we just swapped vehicles.
Oh, that's cool. Now, one of the cars that was out there with the JGL cars had CJ Faison in it. You were involved with that car too, right?
I used to be, not anymore. Last year, I put that whole group together with Greg Nixon and James White, and that was. And when we came together last year, I was supposed to race it at their end, and I was looking forward to it. And they decided to go another direction and had me work on that car instead of drive it. So I'll just do my own deal from now on. If that's the way they felt about it, I just take my cars and go do my own deal. That's what I did.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. I thought you were still involved with them in some shape, form, or fashion.
No, but this makes 1 year that I decided that I didn't need to do that anymore. I mean, it isn't just a deal where you get too many seats and not enough opinions. I wanted to run it my way. They had their way to run it, and their way was using some of my stuff, and I didn't get to drive. So if I ain't getting to drive and I'm not putting a bunch of money in my pocket, somebody else to drive my car, then why would I use it?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time tonight, Carl.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to get you back on here again. I hope you have better luck in the future. I tell you, I hurt for you just as bad as anybody else did the other day when I saw that. And
well, they told the impact recorder was almost 40 G's, so they would always shoot me up. So.
That was, I mean, I saw the reruns of it, and I'm going to tell you something. It was a hit.
Yeah, you should have been where I was at.
Yeah, no.
No, I think we'll pass on that one, Carl.
I think I don't want to be on that one. At least you didn't have what happened to the other guy a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Jamie Dick.
Yeah.
All right, well, Carl, we appreciate your time tonight. We're going to let you get back to work on that race car. I know you got to get ready to go, so we'll talk to you later.
All right, now, do y'all have a reception out there on Virginia Beach, correct?
Yes.
All right, well, you got to go over there to the ice cream plant. So right on the boardwalk here. Twice, my partner, and it's part of that thing. We ran at Richmond, and it's sweet and salty, I think, ice cream is right on the board.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We'll have to definitely do that. When you come back to Richmond, we'll have to come over and see you and introduce ourselves.
All right, well, go out to Virginia Beach and get some ice cream. Tell them it's on off.
All right, we'll do. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Appreciate it.
All right, see you.
Carl is still one of those guys that are blue collar, work on it, race it, kind of like the old days of racing. And Carl's probably one of the nicest guys in the garage. And has worked around the series from Cup to trucks forever.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't get into the Cup thing because
I know Carl's such a nice guy. I didn't want to bring that up.
I don't know if you were around one time we did the show with him, and we brought that up.
That was a sore subject,
and
I can imagine
we got an earful on that one because he still cannot go in the Cup.
Is that the same show that buys all those likes?
Yeah, they buy the likes and stuff too, but he still can't go in the Cup garage.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he can't even go over to the Cup garage at all.
You know, and that's I understand NASCAR side of it. They can't show favoritism just because it's Carl and he doesn't have the money. A fine is a fine. And man, I think everybody feels for the guy. They did, because for a while I don't think he was allowed in any garage, but they did waive the lower series, the Cup, or Xfinity and the Truck Series, and allows him to work in those series, but he is not allowed in the Cup garage or anything in any team in the Cup Series. I mean, it's kind of sad. I know they've paid some towards his fine, which was $150,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he told us on that show that he had to pay that fine.
I mean,
it would have wrecked him. I mean, that would have been.
There's no way he could afford it. He's a guy just as you and me that makes minimal money, and there's no way he could come up with.
He and I have, he was at Rockingham. They did the first race at Rockingham, which was a Pro Cup race, when they reopened Rockingham.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Howard was on the pole for that race. Dave Talman was supposedly the crew chief because the crew chief didn't show up that day. He didn't come to the racetrack.
So he got promoted by circumstance.
Well,
I'm going to tell Dave this when we see him.
No, he'll tell you the same thing because it was really funny because Dave was the crew. Dave was supposedly the crew chief.
Supposedly, I got this.
But he was also the jack man on pit stops. So they put a radio on me and told me to stand in there and act like I was somebody.
You're good at that.
So I was in there, and of course the guy over here on this side was from TriStar, and I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Wintron. They had a little issue there that it looked like we were going to fight there for a little while.
The guy after that Pro 6 race at Lincoln this weekend.
Yeah, and it probably would have not been as bad as that Pro 6 But Carl Woody was leading the race, going to the halfway mark. Woody had just flat drove away from everybody, and he was lapping Carl.
Woody Howard, I think he was in the 76 this weekend at Langley.
67,
yeah, 67.
JT Jackson's car, yeah. He was lapping around Carl, and Carl got loose and took him out, and that was probably the best car. The best car on the track got taken out, and he came over and he come up to me, and because I was the only one in the pit per se,
acting like they belong there,
and he come over to me, man, hey, look, I'm sorry, and hey, nothing I can do about that. I mean, I don't have nothing to do with it.
So is CJ calling us?
Yeah, he's going to call in a few minutes. He said he's running a little bit behind. Let's see if we can get Connor Hall again. Let's just take a shot.
As soon as we get him on the phone, CJ will be calling.
Well, CJ said it may be just a few minutes before he'll be able to get to us. So
CJ's going to give us an update on how well his weekend went. And maybe we'll get some breaking news. Maybe we'll find out if there's going to be any more races for him. I'm sure he's got that taste in his mouth back again.
I'm sure.
He probably wants to get back in the nationwide car.
While your party is free.
I'll tell you what,
if Connor doesn't answer, we're going to have to think of some joke to call him. And we'll get everybody else on the show. We'll give him
somebody a big dog.
That's the first funny thing you said all night.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Well, guess we're not going to get a hold of him.
We're going to have a Langley Speedway segment.
No, we're not going to have a Langley Speedway
but
segment.
I think we probably going to have to soon get one of our women racers over there. We've already had one, Maddie Ryan, and I think the next good one should be Angela Marie Steele.
Yeah, I think so too. We need to get her side of the story.
Yeah.
Get her side of the story.
Maybe we should do like y'all did me, and we'll have Maddie call in.
Yeah, that would be. Hey, there you go. That would be.
That's a real good way to stir some shit up. Look.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I ain't getting involved in that one.
It is funny now. It wasn't real funny at the time. Especially at the last race, I forget somebody tried to wreck Scott, and the car owner was over there talking to Scott. And Scott was like, "Man, I don't hold no hard feelings. Hell, he cost me a championship last year." Looking at me, I was like, "Me?" I'm like, "At least I owned it." I come over and said, "Yeah, I wrecked you." I got mad.
Well, that's arena racing. What can you say?
I mean, and it's true. I mean, when you're at arena racing and you're covering. Man, this place is so small in 8 seconds. That's crazy fast. Things happen real quick.
But you don't have to go backwards on the track.
Well, you do if you got to catch the guy that's faster than you. That's the way you can catch him. It's hard to wreck them when they go by you.
All right, Clayton, we need some more questions, man. This is getting a little bit out of hand here.
Let's go see. We're waiting on CJ Faison to call in about his update on this weekend at Dover. Let's see. Let's look up how his weekend
finished. Started 37th, finished 23rd. Had an out. I mean,
at one time he was top 15. I think it was one time.
Yeah, I think he did get up in the top 15 at one point. But I'm
going to tell you what. And we didn't really talk about the nationwide race.
Let's go.
What about Chris Buescher? This kid keeps overachieving, in my opinion.
Well, let's ask Bubba Wallace if he feels he's overachieving.
Hey, I don't see where he did anything wrong. If I was Chris, I'd have done the same thing. He had to go.
Yeah, I don't see where he did anything wrong either.
It's just racing. Bubba, I understand him from getting mad. I understand him for trying. I wouldn't say he was blocking, but he was trying to hold his line, trying to hold him behind him. He was leading the race with what? Was it 15 to go?
Yeah, something like that.
I'd have tried to block him too.
What was funny was today, Bubba was on one of the call-in shows today, and he made the comment, "We ain't shook hands yet."
He's still mad. He's still mad.
The funny thing was, I listened to Claire B. Lang after the race the other night, and she had Chris Buescher on there, and he said, "Well, he asked people on the how should I approach him because we have to get on the same plane and fly back." And he said, "I don't know how I should go up to him." And he says, my come on lines are not good. He said, "I'm not really sure." And he said, "I'm sure I'm gonna get there, and he's gonna have his headphones on and his hoodie over his head. How am I supposed to?" And everybody was calling and saying, "You need to do this, you need to do that."
I'm sure he's probably playing it up. I'm sure he looks back at it and knows that he didn't wreck him. He rooted him up. That's well to be expected. And I know this is for me racing myself. If you caught me, you're faster than me. And obviously, if it's a few laps to go, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you behind me. If you rough me up, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of it. I have no problem with that. Not this past year, a year before, I didn't say I wrecked him. I roughed a guy up pretty good coming out of 4 at arena racing and won the race. He came over, and he had a big lead, and he had a couple lap cars in front of him that were racing. His dad told him to pedal it, and I had a guy beating on my rear bumper. I had been blocking him for 30 laps. He was faster than me, but he couldn't get under me, so I just kept running my line. He would beat me. I mean, every lap it was bam, bam. I mean, but he couldn't get me off the bottom of the racetrack. And I come down the backstretch and I said, "Damn, there's the leader." We got in the 4. I was on top of him. I got the guy beating on me, so I nailed him. He got up on 2 wheels. Me and the third place guy went by. I won the race. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't arrest me after the race for stealing the win because I did. But he was the first person to come over afterwards. I hadn't even got in my car and come over and shook my hand and congratulated me.
Well, we know who that won't.
No, we knew that wasn't Scott Probert. But he did, and that's part of racing. I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, I understand because I'm not gonna give anybody. I don't care if we're friends, teammates, unless you're fighting for the championship. I don't think any of us are gonna give a win to any teammate. I might give second place or third place or fourth place or fifth place or whatever place. I'm not gonna give a win to nobody.
And that's what Jack Roush pays him for, and he doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want him to give it away and just.
No, you didn't hire a guy. You hired a guy to win.
And I think he got exactly. I mean, he got exactly what he was paying him for. He did it, and he even said Jack Roush said, he didn't. That's the first time he ever had 2 of his guys
fighting for a win
in a while. And so, well, he said the first time he's ever had them bump into each other for a win, and he said, we'll see what happens Monday. And they had to meet.
I'm sure, yeah.
And, of course, he kept saying, Bubba kept saying, it's going to be an interesting meeting Monday. It's going to be an interesting meeting. Well, we ain't ever heard what happened in the meeting. You won't hear.
Right.
But
it reminds me of, I'm sure you remember, I don't know if some of the guys that are watching it remember, when Ward Burton and Jeff Burton were racing. And Ward about won the first half of the season, like 5 races, and every damn time, I think it was like 10 to go, here comes Jeff and passing for the win. And I remember going over and interviewing Ward, and they were asking him about it, and Ward was like, no, I'm goddamn mad. and they asked Jeff about it, and Jeff was like, hey, look, it's a win. I'm not getting, if it was second place or something, it'd be different. But I don't care, brother or no brother, I'm going for the win, and he did.
So what you're saying is brothers don't have love for each other on the racetrack?
Hell no. You don't think
that's a neat theory I can't comprehend too well.
I'm sure.
That's a theory I can't comprehend because
if you and me were racing, there'd be no one I get. It's almost like I got just as much satisfaction, and it's probably the time that oh God, what's the boy's name? Cameron. I was racing with him and on one of the restarts on one of the top dogs, and he hears Dad talk about it at Testerman. It was about I wrecked him, and I didn't really wreck him. I roughed him up, but I didn't wreck him. And then I told him what he did wrong. But what had happened was the top dog starts double file, and me and him ended up on the outside, and he was loose already. And the outside gets real loose if your car is working on the bottom. Well, you got to push the guy on the outside to get by the cars on the inside. And people were freight training us, and I kept knocking. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And finally he got loose, and I got by him. And that's all I could think about. It wasn't really exactly where we finished. It was beating him. Because I love the kid to death because he's a good kid, and he's so much fun. I pick on him all the time. But, I mean, first thing I call on the radio, thank God he didn't beat me because I didn't want to hear him talk trash about him beating me. But he wasn't as happy as I was.
I talked to Camden's mom today, and he's not this weekend, but within the next couple of weeks he's going to drive that dirt car.
Yeah. I seen the thing was ready.
So I kind of want to go see him drive that dirt car. I think it'll be interesting.
I think they're going to run Dixieland for the first few races, and they're going to try to go do Saluda. So we'll have to go up one Friday night and check them out. Clayton's got a question. He wants to know if we owned a team, who was the guy that we would have to drive the car? Chase Elliott or Eric Jones? Hell, I think either one of those guys are great.
Yeah. If I look at it from a standpoint of
who's available,
who's out there that you could build your team around a little bit, Chase, I think it would have to be Eric Jones because I think Eric Jones is as close to Kyle Busch as anybody is.
The kid is definitely good.
I mean, he can do basically the same things. And I mean, tell you, the last 3 weeks, that guy ought to be winning races. I mean, he's had some really bad breaks last.
He has, but I would say for me, if I had a team, Eric Jones and Chase Elliott is not available. You're not going to be. You ain't got enough money to buy those guys out of those contracts. Mm-mm. To me, I think the next closest guy would be a Chris Buescher or a Bubba Wallace. Yeah. I think those are two guys you could build a good team. I think those are two guys that you could probably take a mediocre team and start elevating.
That's what not bothered me, but that's what I was wondering about. Front row had Chris Buescher in their car for a while.
Do not understand why
they took him out and put Moffitt in the car. Now I'm wondering if there was some finagling back and forth with Waltrip and them doing that, and that could be because they took Moffitt out of the 55, put Reagan in. Reagan was the 34 driver earlier in the season, and
that has got to be. I would think so, but I am kind of surprised because that is a Ford team, and I think they have some tie with Roush.
Yeah, they do have a tie with Roush.
I think they have a technical alliance with Roush. But I wouldn't have took Chris Buescher. But and I thought, honestly, I would say a little disappointed on Brett Moffitt. He had that one real good run in the 55, and people talked about him, but he hasn't really done much since then. Although none of Michael Waltrip races has really done great.
Yeah,
but Chris Buescher had several really good runs in that 34 car. I mean, I think there was one time he was in the top 10 or he was 12th or 13th there. I mean, they had some really – and totally outshine the other teams that they have there. And they have some good, it's kind of a BK racing team. It's a low budget team, but they got some the people they have driving have a lot of experience. David over there has got a lot of experience.
David
and then who's in the other car?
Witt.
Cole Witt.
Cole Witt's in one, and now you got Moffitt in the other one. I would have probably, if there was a way I could have worked it out, I'd have probably kept Buescher in that car.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But then again, you don't know exactly what.
It's so much stuff goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize.
You don't know what Jack Roush, he may said, look, hey, I didn't give you.
Well, it's true because he was on loan from Jack Roush.
I didn't give you Buescher for this many weeks, and
I'm paying him X amount of dollars. It very well could be something like that, or it could be. Does Buescher have full-time sponsorship?
Yes.
So it could be a sponsorship issue too.
Well, yeah, it could be. Yeah, well, CJ Faison, where are you?
Mr. Dover.
Yeah, I mean, he had.
I was looking up. I don't know if we had another question or anything. If they had anything.
You'll have to be here next week with a show next week.
Oh, are we confirming?
I've just got it. And
if there's ever a show you want to watch, next week is going to be the one.
Yeah, this guy's going to be really entertaining. He's going to be good, and I think everybody will enjoy that because that's just the way he is.
Yeah. So whatever you're doing, you want to watch the show live next week. If you got some questions, he's a perfect candidate to have some great answers.
Let me see what's going on here with him.
Who's that?
CJ
Faison. Real eyewear. I was hoping we'd get some glasses.
You need to bring that up again. I'm working on the other thing.
Man, we need a sunglass partner.
Yeah, that would be good.
Or we need to get what's the guy we had on that old show?
Oh shoot, I can't remember his name now.
I'm drawing a blank too. Damn, I'm drawing a blank. What is the name of the company? I can't even think of it.
Was it? No.
I keep wanting to say Gargoyle, whatever.
No, it's not Gargoyle.
Which was Senior's
Wiley X.
Wiley X. Could you see our face on their website? I mean, yours would be a little bigger than everybody else's.
I don't know who you comparing that to.
Well, I mean, they got Harvick. Man, I'm drawing a blank. The 20 car.
Wiley X, that's a lot of the
Cup teams. They do all kinds of stuff, cool stuff.
I think the Wood brothers are.
I'm getting ready to tell you. The Wiley X team. Have you heard anything about the Krispy Kreme guy? What team he's going to be in? Have you heard any on that?
I haven't heard anything else about that. That's just kind of.
We got Harvick, Logano, Krispy Kreme kid.
So you gonna tell me my head's bigger than Logano's?
Logano's got a little skinny head. This is long. I don't know. Ron Hornaday, Jamie Nemechek, Carl Edwards, David Reagan, Matt Kenseth. Did he say Colin?
Well, no.
I think I'm calling the wrong calling number.
I think you might be.
You're probably calling that one of his other shows.
Yeah. No, I looked on my Facebook. I thought I was calling the right one, but it kept just going back to the automated Verizon message. But
All right, now got CJ Faison joining us. You had a great Dover. I sat down the edge of my seat for every practice and in the race. You did great.
Your butt ain't even been on the edge of anything.
Now don't be laughing.
What? Go ahead.
Don't be laughing at him. Go ahead.
No, I'll tell you what, Dover was probably one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had in my whole entire life. I'm a totally changed person ever since that race, and I mean that in like a really good way. I've always appreciated the opportunities that have come, to me in my racing career, but Dover was something special. It was the turnout of the actual fans that were there rooting me on. I mean, more fans in the stands yelled for me during driver introductions than they did for Mexicans up in Casey Kane. So that right there makes you feel good in itself. But, not only that, but just to see the support of everyone locally that came out, we're just supportive of it. I mean, I can't get over them. I'm really humbled and really blessed to have the fan support. And I think JGO Racing, they put me in a great car. And, for not being in a race car in 2 years, I don't think I did half bad. So I'll take that responsibility.
No, I think you did good.
Look at what you look what you did. I mean, you did have you qualified 37th, I think.
Yeah, I messed up my qualifying lap there. I told the team that, and they understood. And they were like, "Hey, ain't no big deal. It's a learning curve, big jump for you." So I was just trying to get more out of the car than probably what I should have. So it's my fault. So I learned from it.
But you came away with a good finish. I mean, you accomplished a lot of what you wanted to accomplish. You brought the car home. You got a 23rd finish. But I mean,
with the equipment,
and for the first time in 2 years, you did good. I mean, I was impressed.
I'd have took that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. It was a lot of fun. First off, and second of all, like I keep saying, I mean, I'm just so grateful and thankful for the opportunity that JGO gave me. Especially at Dover. I was very familiar with the track, so that helps out a lot, that's for sure. But it's just very humbling to see everything kind of come together like this. It really is.
So with the way things went there, and I know you probably can't say a whole lot, are you in negotiations to get some more races?
Yeah, we've talked about it and discussed it, and the team is looking for sponsorship right now. Put me in it for a lot longer than, what we've agreed upon. So, I don't know. There's talks about, possible couple races here very soon. So, if sponsorship comes through, then by all means, I'll definitely be out there. But, the team can't operate without that. So, just cross my fingers, and I'm pushing and knocking on doors every day. And, I think I did my job out there in Dover, and that's the proof to a sponsor of, official that, I have. So, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Now, has this re-energized you to try to work towards getting back in a Nation or Xfinity car?
Yeah, it really has. I was a little burned out there for a little bit, and disappointed after how 2013 ended. And I never really threw the whole Nascar idea away, but it wasn't on my top priority list. But I definitely wanted to get my feet planted in the ground. I've just bought a house and here in Delaware, and I'm running two businesses of my own. So financially, I'm very well stable, and that to me, I can lay down at night and not have to worry about that aspect. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now driving has become a lot more fun for me, and not only that, but you don't have that worry in the back of your mind. You just go out there, and you just drive that thing 110% and get the best result that you can now. And to answer your question, yes, it's totally re-energized me to get back in it. I was going to go dirt racing this year, but I'm just having a lot of fun doing everything that I'm doing right now. I mean, life is perfect, dude. The only way it could be any better right now is if I had a full-time ride. I'm working on that, so you never know.
Yeah, I would say that you're a good candidate. Not only can you drive a race car, but you're really good at where some guys are not at marketing or being in a public eye. I follow you on Facebook, and you're pretty good at marketing stuff, it seems like. So, I mean, I think that's an added thing that a lot of drivers, some guys, I mean, I see some of these guys on the weekly level, they don't think it's that important, but I can't stress, as you well know, marketing is just as important as your ability to drive.
Well, yeah, I tell everybody, my job isn't to be a race car driver. My job is to first off market my sponsors and then be a race car driver. I would say if you had to knock it down to a percentage basis, it is 90% marketing, 10% driving. I really do. I mean, 'cause that's what you do throughout the week. I mean, you only race one day out of the week, and the rest of the days that you got there, you're spent marketing yourself and your sponsors, and always trying to move forward. So I always stress to the local guys, like, worry about marketing,
right?
And then let your team worry about making you go fast out there on the racetrack. So I mean, without the sponsors, you can't do what you love. So I mean, you can't do it backwards. You can't race and then look for sponsors. You got to look for sponsors first. Then go race.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your plan now? I mean, you don't have anything set up, though, and I know you got your two businesses, but are you going to be going back down to Charlotte and try to get into something down there to where you can put your name out?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm going to be doing here the next couple of weeks. And, I've got a couple of phone calls that are pretty optimistic. I will say that. I don't really know how to explain it other than I was coming out of the racetrack. I pulled out of the driver's motorcycle spot, and I was going to go get some dinner with my girlfriend and her family. They came down. So we were pulling out of there, and I had my windows rolled down in the truck. This gentleman walked by me that I was very familiar with and seeing him on TV quite a bit. And he asked me what my plans were for the year, and I said, well, this is my only race I got scheduled so far. And he said, well, give me your business card, and let's see what we can do. So I haven't had a call yet, but maybe something's brewing in the background that I don't quite see yet. So.
Well, I hope it works out for you, man, because you got two big fans right here for you.
Well, one's bigger than the other, but.
Oh, that's something now. No, I know I got some good fans in you two right there. I appreciate all the support. You guys have always been there for me and had me on the show, and we've always had a lot of fun. So I always like being on here with y'all. I really enjoy it.
Hey, how did we get on the what's the sunglasses? Real Eyewear program. Man,
Real Eyewear program. That's a tough program now. No, I'm kidding. I think I know a couple people there, so I can probably get you hooked up.
Well, hook us up if you can fit Jack's face on the website.
Oh, here we go.
Oh boy.
They got to be big, remember? Or the glasses.
Don't buy into that, CJ. Just let it go.
The glasses you got to get for Jack. You know they got to be big.
Man, y'all are hard on each other here.
Yeah, we've had people wonder if we really like each other. I'm not really sure some days.
Right. Hey, man, that's how you know you're good friends.
Well, CJ, we appreciate you calling and talking to us tonight. And
when you get that news, when you do, please give us a call and let us know. And man, I'm excited for you.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, right now I'm so excited I just can't even get over it. I mean, just to run that well at Dover, I don't want to keep you on much longer to go on a time schedule, but to run that well at Dover and have the support there, it doesn't get any better than that. I was just so humbled by the whole experience. I mean, I did a question and answer session on top of Miles and Monster, that big statue out front of the racetrack. And there were so many people that showed up to that, and every time I was like, I just want to make no one proud, like the crowd just goes nuts, and it was just, it was a dream come true, really. That whole weekend, it was everything I've ever imagined, NASCAR to be. And I'm just very grateful. Once again, I got to thank JGL. I mean, and everybody else who supports me, Carl Deputy and Sun Builders, they're the ones who came on board and really made this thing happen, and they were all up there in the skybox, and they were cheering me on, and it feels good. I appreciate you all having me on the show, so I'm very thankful for all of you. I really am.
Well, we're excited for you, and we're gonna keep up with you and find out what's going on. And please let us know when you get something firmed up, and you'll have two big fans pulling for you.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, man. Talk to you later. We appreciate it.
Hey, y'all have a good one.
You too, man.
Bye.
Bye. You see, I think we might have us a sunglass partner now.
You walked right into that one pretty good.
Clayton, sorry, I just seen your message. He wanted to know about how CJ likes running dirt, and about the trucks running dirt, and maybe one day. I don't think you'll ever see an Xfinity or a Sprint Cup car on dirt.
No, I don't think so either.
It takes a lot for the trucks to run dirt. I mean, they have one truck that is just for dirt. It takes a lot for the teams, but everybody really enjoys it, and it's Tony Stewart's track. I think if it was anybody else's track or anything different, I don't think it would ever happen. But I'm not a gambler, but I would be willing to place a bet that you'll never see an Xfinity or Sprint Cup team on dirt.
They've even said that would be beyond what they need to do there, because when you have the changes they have to make to the truck, and you have that one truck for that weekend.
One race, yeah.
And
it's an exciting race. I mean, it certainly is exciting to watch.
And 9 times out of 10, that truck's going to be beat up pretty bad by the time you get it back.
Yeah, it's going to be need reskin.
So it's, they got one truck basically built for that, and that's it. And
that's a lot of money just to build.
It's a whole lot easier to do it.
Probably $100,000, $150,000.
Yeah, but it's a whole lot easier to do it for the truck series than it is for anybody else. And so, yeah, I don't think you'll ever see a Xfinity car or anything like that.
No, there's too much stuff. Well, we had a great show.
Good show. Great show.
Thanks, CJ. And I look forward to my real eyewear and Jack's glasses.
I see where this is going. Clayton, appreciate you being with us tonight on that. You made it interesting for us, too.
And we enjoyed the questions. And we look forward to hopefully we found a fan, and hopefully we'd like to see you next week and with some more questions.
Please
Mike Luca will be a great one if you research him.
And I tell you what, if anybody can tell us, like he said earlier, if
we'll give something, we'll let you pick out of some of the stuff we got left with the Zims Foundation stuff. If you can come up, well, what Mike Luca is famous for, or what
his last claim to fame.
His last claim to fame, right? That's how he put it. If you can guess that, maybe we'll let you call into the show and or something.
Yeah,
so we'll pick you.
Yeah, you got to
pick somebody, and we'll let you pick something out of our pack. The book bag's already gone. We got a few other things left out of our Zims Foundation stuff. So
give us a call next week, but look that up, see what you come up with, and that show next week is going to be good.
Because it's going to be mostly just him. We'll probably still have one of our people from Langley Speedway for our Langley Speedway segment. We didn't get our Langley Speedway segment here. So everybody from Langley Speedway, you give Connor Hall a hard time. Maybe he had to do his homework, or maybe his girlfriend wouldn't let him call.
Well,
maybe some restriction.
I'm going to find out.
But thank you, everybody.
And we'll see you next week.
Well, maybe we're ready. All right.